It's Monday again, and this is another weekly analysis for the upcoming week based on the gamma exposure levels provided by Quant Trading app. These levels are drawn on my charts manually. I take a look at the data, I interpret it, I analyze it, and then I record a YouTube video. This video is a little bit late here. I'm recording it in the afternoon session here. It's currently 1:47 p.m. Eastern time, so the market is not quite yet closed. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it up before the market closed. Time kind of got away from me this morning as there were a lot of other tasks I had to take care of. But I went ahead and plotted these levels. I shared them in the Quant Trading app Discord with a loose idea for the game plan. The significant strikes that I think are to take note of this week would be 670 to 640. So I already went ahead and plotted a iron condor for this week here. So this is just following the weekly templates that I like to do. I like to run at least an iron condor, then some sort of an iron butterfly, and then mix in some XSP positions, but the bulk of the trades are with the SPX. Those of you that don't know, you can take the SPY level, something like 640 or 670, you plug it in a website. It's called SPY Converter. You just press converts and it gives you an estimate of what's that correlates to with the SPX, and then that's how I get my SPX strikes. I like to do my analysis on the SPY whenever I'm combining multiple expirations. This is a analysis on the gamma exposure profile from all expirations for this week for the SPY. So it is a multi-day analysis of the gamma exposure. If I'm analyzing a single expiration, so let's just say I wanted a game plan for Wednesday, then I will use the SPX gamma exposure profile for just Wednesday. Speaking of Wednesday, I intend to maybe do another midweek check-in this week if I get the time on Wednesday, just because the market is so volatile right now. It is heavily affected by the headlines around Iran and what's going on with the US and Trump. So we have extreme volatile moves right now, hence last week's sell-off. You guys can check out the previous video that was released on Saturday in which we did a recap of last week. That information gets carried over into this week. So we have our primary range in which I would expect an iron condor to be profitable by Wednesday. We want to have a little bit of concern for the upside in this week here because now we are in the mostly net positive gamma area. This is where the bulk of the net positive gamma is, and then things taper off as we reach up to 679. It is possible for the market to hit 679 just because of how volatile the market is. I do not think we're going to go to 679 this week, but it is possible. 670 would be the realistic target expectation for SPY, but it is more than likely going to be resistance on the way up as the high, very high gamma exposure strikes are 660 and 640. So these are the most firm strikes, I would say, for this week, but the edge is a little bit on the bull sides once we remain above this area here. If the SPY loses 652, then bears can gain some momentum. However, it becomes harder for the markets to continue selling off because us as traders and humans, we start to become desensitized to the news, and the VIX does not spike as high as it does. There won't be as much fear. It has to be something unexpected. So every time we hear of a headline pertaining to the same thing, which right now will be the war, every time we hear that headline, we inevitably become desensitized until it gets to the point where it's not as surprising, and therefore the markets, which is an instrument or a vehicle that likes to look ahead, it won't be as concerned with the same news. And that is usually how they trap newer traders, because the headlines can continue to be negative, but the markets can start going up, and a lot of traders end up missing out on a lot of really good opportunities that way. So as long as the markets remains above here, definitely above here, obviously this is a very easy support level to understand of 640 from looking at the gamma exposure profile. There's a lot of absolute gamma down here also, as it is the third highest absolute gamma strike. It's the highest open interest. It has the highest put open interest. This is a very solid support level for this week. If 640 is lost, I wouldn't count on this level holding. Things will get extremely volatile below here. We can see another type of day like this on Friday where the markets dropped 10 points in a day. That is possible below 640. So I would not even look to expect this to be support. It can be one of those days where it goes all the way down to 630, possibly even 625. I would not expect the market to be below 625 this week. If it is, I would interpret that as an extremely good opportunity to take a trade to the upside, a sort of contrarian trade. It will be risky. So if you're going to consider that, please make sure you manage your risk accordingly and trade with a size that you are comfortable with. So this is the primary support. This is what what's expected to be supports. Below it, be careful. The markets can have an extreme volatile sell-off below it, but for now, we're going to expect this to hold. Now, our real supports level that is actually in play is this area here. So between 653 to 652, this little golden pocket or so that I highlighted right here, this is what I'm expecting the markets to stay above for the most part. So we get below it, then we have this as the next major supports. Obviously, there's support at 645, which is expected support as that is Friday's close also. So there's confluence there. But you guys know in net negative gamma, price tends to go past support levels as it breaks them because of the dynamics of gamma exposure. That being said, I'm not looking to predict the future. If we are above here, then I'm going to be slightly bullish. I'm going to have a slight bias to the long side. I'm going to start thinking about 670. I'm going to start thinking about possibly 679 for next week. If it was not for Friday, I was expecting 670 last week actually, but you guys know what happened. I had a couple lotto trades that went to zero, and then over the weekend I had that call debit spread that worked out on the ES that I mentioned last week on Friday. I just continued to run these lotto trades for Thursday and Friday. And when I recorded the video on Friday, it looked like all the lottos were just going to fail, most of which did, except for the ones that were expiring today, which is something that I always like to say on weeks of quad witching and huge monthly options expirations. Don't be so fixated on the weekly options. That's why on Monday of last week, we were discussing a little further out. I came on Wednesday and said, at this point, you might as well close out any weekly option expiration positions. And now you guys are seeing in relatively real time why I like to just look past this Thursday and Friday. These tend to be weird days in the markets. By having the same game plan, but using at least Monday's expiration, treat this as the Friday, you can kind of skip what kind of weird, strange stuff happens around quad witching here. And then you can put yourself in a winning position. So this one call debit spread on the ES made up for all the XSP broken wing butterflies that were a loss. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, just check out the previous videos from last week. Now, as we look forward to this week, it might be time to start thinking about lottos again for 670. They can be broken wing butterflies on the XXP. These positions are sometimes around 50 cents. You can get things for around $1, which is around $50 to $100 per lot. Or obviously, if you have a larger account, you can do the same thing on the SPX. And we're talking about $500 positions. If you have a $50,000 account or so and you're looking at a $500 position that has the potential to make $1,500 with no risk to the upside, and $500 is your max loss if the market is below 660, this is how I like to think about structuring these trades. So it looks something like this. This is here is where you are losing money. Below this, above here, you are profitable. Around here is where you make the most amount of money. And no matter how high the market goes, you don't lose any money. Broken wing butterflies. I don't have any mocked up for now, but if you guys are curious what that structure looks like, you just come here. Let's go to the SPX. You can go with something like next week, give it a little bit more time, go something like this, and just make the out of the far out the money call broken wing. So this is a broken wing butterfly. You choose the strike price here where you think the market might pin. So in this case here, let's just mock one up in real time. I was going to try and make this video pretty brief so I can get it up to you guys as quick as possible, but here I am mocking up a butterfly that I did not intend to do, but this is an example of one. So around 550 bucks, this is targeting loosely around this level right here on the SPY. We're going with next week Monday expiration just because the markets may fall short this week or something like that. You just want the market to head in that direction. If it heads in that direction by Friday, if it is around here, you are profitable. If you hold it into next week and it is above this level here, which again at this point should be around here on the SPY, again just loosely drawing this out in real time. I'm trying to record this video as quick as possible. I do have some positions to kind of adjust, and I do have an appointment that I need to get to, so I'm going to start speed talking so I can hurry up and finish up this video. So the other things to take note of for this week is above here, low gamma exposure, and then above 679. I would be shocked if the market was above here again within the next 4 days. You guys want to take a look at the usual account builder butterfly spread. That is the iron butterfly that is around 11 to a 15 DTE on the SPX. If you're considering something like that, then you want to make the call side a little bit of a broken wing so you don't have so you have less risk to the upside. and you can structure it pretty much, in my opinion, anywhere around here from today. So anything around 660. This is the highest positive gamma strike. It is the highest absolute gamma strike, and it is also the highest call open interest for this week. So it is going to be a good strike to anchor. It ends up being a good place to anchor your positions around to harvest theta. Next, let's take a look at the VIX, and we can see that it has rejected the quant trading app key levels. This is the 2 sigma levels from quant trading app. It comes straight from the QTA script that is generated on a Sunday night, and these levels remain on our charts for the balance of this week. The VIX sold off and it ended up rejecting this 2 sigma level, so we want to keep that in mind. If the VIX continues to sell off, that will help the markets to continue to go up. If we see the SPY get all the way up to 670, then we would expect the VIX to be below this 2 sigma support level. But if the VIX reaches this 2 sigma support level again and it is holding and the SPY is struggling at a resistance level, we can use that as a sign that the SPY might reverse and sell back off, as it might be attracted to 660. We're talking about if it is at 665, we want to take a look to see what is the VIX doing. The same thing, we want to look for confluences with something like the ADS-PD or something like the ADD on the larger time frame. And forgive me if I'm talking really fast. I have an appointment that I have to get to, so I'm trying to rush through this. I don't even think I'll be able to get this video up to you guys in time, but I will do my best, and hopefully next week, Monday, things won't be as chaotic for me. On the daily time frame, what do we have here? We see this massive volume that happened on Friday. If we zoom out for a second here, this has been going on for at least 10 years in the market now. Every time we see this major spike on the daily time frame, it is around the same time everyone is the most afraid. That tends to be when the market reverses. So boom, market reversal, market reversal, market reversal, market reversal, market reversal, somewhere in here. It's not lined up properly. Let's see. There we go. Market reversal. So that's that one. Market reversal, market reversal. Now, do we know if the market is going to reverse this time? No, but what is our information showing us has happened previously many times. Off of my experience and just off the top of my head, I'm going to say over 80% of the time, if we see something like this, it tends to be the bottom, which means if the market does go lower, it's probably going to trigger some sort of panic selling, which will actually probably be an even better time to buy. If you ask me as an investor right now, I am now interested again in the market. I am now building back up my long-term portfolio after sitting on the sidelines for a long time. This is the type of characteristics that I like to see, as I liquidated most of my positions last week. Not that my long-term investment portfolio was that large, but at least now I'm excited to start incrementally adding to it. And it doesn't matter, the lower and lower we go this year, the better it is, because I'm talking about a 3 to a 10-year span, the type of positions that I'm looking to build. We are still below the 200 daily moving average, so that is something to take note of. And we are pretty close at this point to that anchored VWAP that was addressed earlier this year, and it is continuing to be mentioned. So we know 640, we know 642, we know this area is interesting for the buyers of the markets. If we take a look at the volume profile, we have a POC from back in that August timeline. So it's just left over my chart from around here, because when the markets broke out over the previous all-time high that year of 2025, and it was chopping around it, the volume profile was thick and it was a massive demand zone that was built up. So that was just a leftover VPOC that's on my charts, just slightly below where the futures hit here. But as you guys know, it's generally going to be a range. Just like this POC that I have here, I have a range around it. So I deleted the range, but the range is coming straight from, you see these thick high volume nodes. I draw the POC and then I put a range around the high volume nodes. There was a range around it, just looked like that. So the market came down to that leftover demand zone. I have another one down here that was from the month previous to that. So that's from July 2025. So these are two significant strikes. I have not made any updates to this charts for this week. I'm still using the leftover value area low and value area high from the previous week, so not last week. And the reason I did that is because last week's value area was relatively constricted. It was so close to the previous range, I didn't see a need to update it, as this value area high is right next to this POC and it's right next to this supply zone up here. So to me, I don't want to clutter my chart with a bunch of mini levels. So I'm just using these main levels, and they are continuing to work. As we see, the market bounced, it struggled here, it bounced, and and then this is where it broke down. Once it broke back over, look at where it rejected. It rejected this point of control from 2 weeks back. And where did it sell off to? Came right back down to the value area low. So it is this general area. I'm not looking for perfection. I like to have a range, especially for my style of trading, that I'm looking to set up swing trades. These nuance 5-10 points in between here are sometimes irrelevant. Sometimes I'm 15 minutes late to actually open the position because I'm busy analyzing my risk profile, trying to figure out what's the best structure. So I'm not a micro scalper, so we can have a range and have a general idea. If the markets does get above this supply zone now and it can hold above it, then I will definitely expect that we will see this 665 and 670 levels hold for this week, as it is in confluence with this. If the SPY gets over this and it holds this, then it means the ES is getting above this and it is holding here. That's going to put pressure on the bears. Bears are likely the ones to be irrational now, as they are the ones that should be nervous with this type of price action. They are more than likely going to be the emotional ones, which we can see here in this type of price action, which means if the market can hold above this, it can trigger a squeeze for them, and a squeeze is going to cause bears to be irrational, as they can't sit around and wait to see what price is going to do. They have to act quickly. Them acting quickly is essentially trying to buy back the stock that they have shorted at any price they can, and that is a quick brief overview, I guess you can say, of what a short squeeze potentially is. But that is my quick overview, my quick thoughts for the markets. Sorry for the late upload this Monday, and hopefully I translated as I was speaking very quickly, or I think I was, compared to how I used to speak. This is still slower than some of my earlier YouTube videos, as I used to speak as fast as I can and cram as much information into one video. If you are new here, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the video, and leave a comment down below if you will learn something. I will check back in with you guys later in this week with an update. You guys know what to do. We have the accounts builder Ironfly, which is that 11 to 15 DTE Ironfly. Take a look at. We have a weekly XSP position. There is a weekly XSP position to consider. This was actually the first trade that I opened here today, and just because it was the least amount of risk, I was like, let me just get into some of these before my morning got a little too chaotic. Again, I did my analysis very early this morning, as I usually do. I'm just a little late on the video. These are some of my notes. Less than an hour after the market opened, this was what I was essentially thinking then. So all of these levels, again, marked out earlier today based on the data from QTA, which is that snapshot right here. But for the most part, these are the levels. These are my notes. You guys can pause the video here and jot down, just trying to see if there's anything I left out from this video. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.